The world had gone quiet in a way that frightened even the wind. Once, the hum of engines filled the skies, the chatter of satellites wrapped Earth in an invisible web, but now only the low rumble of shifting ground remained. Commandant Isaac Reeve stood on the balcony of the Global Recovery Corps headquarters, staring out at the dark horizon where the Pacific had swallowed entire cities. The air smelled of methane ash, remnants of a planet tired of human loss. He was a man built from war and loss, his face scarred by the kind of exhaustion that no sleep could repair. 6 months ago he had watched the oceans rise, felt the earth convulse beneath his boots, and heard a voice that didn't come from any speaker. "We tried peace," it had said. "Now you will meet the side of humanity you've buried." Since then, no one slept without that phrase echoing somewhere in the back of their mind. The command center behind him flickered with unstable power. Screens bled static, maps were more red than green. Nations no longer existed, only regions of survival. Isaac had been tasked to hold together what was left of them. He turned as Hiss entered the room, a young officer whose energy reminded Isaac of a world that no longer existed. Lieutenant Marcus Venn, an impulsive, saluted but didn't wait for permission to speak. "Sir, the seismic readings are rising again, same pulse patterns as last month, only stronger." "Dr. Cole says it's not tectonic." Isaac faced the screen. Waves of light rippled across the satellite feed, forming faint circles over deserts, forests, and ocean trenches. The pattern wasn't random, it was rhythmic, deliberate, almost alive. "The planet's ticking again," he muttered. Marcus hesitated. "Or someone wants us to think it is." There was doubt in his voice, but Isaac knew better. He had heard that voice before, in his bones, in his dreams. "We silenced every signal after the first warning," Isaac said quietly. "This isn't transmission. It's response." "Dr. Nathan Cole appeared through the cracked doorway, his lab coat singed from another failed generator. He was older than both men, eyes hidden behind fractured glasses, yet his mind remained a relentless storm of calculation. "It's not seismic activity," he said, breathless. "It's structured resonance. Frequencies harmonizing with the planet's magnetic field. Something is trying to synchronize." "Synchronize with what?" Marcus asked. "With us," Cole replied, his tone half fascination, half fear. "The Earth is adapting. It's learning how to communicate." Isaac turned away from the monitor. "Or learning how to warn us better." The lights flickered again, and a deep vibration rippled through the floor. The entire facility shuddered as if a giant heartbeat passed beneath it. An officer shouted from the comms desk, "Magnetic surge from the western grid, overload in 2 minutes. Cut external power." Isaac ordered. "Switch to internal reserves." The room descended into crimson emergency lighting. The hum of machinery was replaced by the whisper of terrified breathing. For a moment, everything stood still until the holographic display reignited on its own and connected to any system. Across every screen, one phrase burned in pale light. "Judgment delayed, not cancelled." A chill swept through the command deck. Cole's hand trembled as he traced the letters with his eyes. "It's direct," he whispered. "No satellite input, no radio origin. This came from within the planet." Isaac stepped closer to the screen. His reflection stared back at him, a soldier, stripped of wars to fight, now facing an enemy that had no face. "It's giving us another chance," he said. Or a countdown. Outside, lightning forked across the sky without thunder. The magnetic fields distorted the atmosphere, painting auroras over dead cities. Isaac watched the lights ripple like a warning flare from the heavens. Every instinct he had learned on battlefields screamed that this was not mercy, it was a test. Marcus leaned on the console beside him. "Sir, if this is real, what do we do? How do you negotiate with a planet?" Isaac's jaw tightened. "You don't negotiate. You listen." Cole shook his head. "And if we don't like what it says? Then we change," Isaac said. But the truth was heavier than his words. He remembered the faces of the dead, the fires swallowing coastlines, the silence that followed. Humanity had already been warned once. The planet had taken millions, spared the rest, and then waited to see what they would become. Yet still, humans drilled, mined, and rebuilt as if forgiveness was infinite. An alarm broke the silence. New seismic activity, global, converging toward Van Pont beneath the Earth's crust. Cole pulled up the data stream. The readings pulsed in binary sequence, repeating a pattern that no one could misinterpret. A clock. 50 hours, Cole whispered. Whatever this is, it's counting down. Marcus swore under his breath. To what? Isaac looked at the glowing horizon, where streaks of fire moved silently across the stratosphere. To judgment. He walked back toward the balcony. Below him, the Pacific shimmered unnaturally, waves rising and falling as though something vast stirred beneath the surface. He thought of his son again, of the little paper rocket they had built together before the purge. The boy had wanted to see the stars. Isaac had promised him that humanity would reach them. Now he wasn't sure they. The tremors began at dawn, long before anyone at the Global Recovery Corps base was awake. The earth didn't shake violently. It breathed, expanding and contracting in slow, deliberate waves that rattled glass and stirred unease in the chest. Commander Isaac Reeve stood in the control bay, watching as the seismic monitors painted strange rhythmic pulses across every screen. They weren't random. They were repeating patterns, like coded sentences written in vibration. Dr. Nathan Cole leaned over the data table, his fingers twitching from too much caffeine and not enough sleep. It's harmonic, he murmured. The same pattern from last night, but clearer. It's learning how to speak. Isaac didn't look away from the monitors. The planet. Cole's eyes flicked toward him, uncertain. Or something beneath it. Whatever's generating this knows we're listening. The air was heavy with a mechanical hum, the sound of generators struggling to feed energy to half-dead machines. Lieutenant Marcus Venn entered the control room, carrying a rifle though no one had ordered him to. His uniform was dusty, his expression more soldier than scientist. Sir, satellite scans confirm the source. 5 epicenters forming a perfect circle around the Pacific. That's no coincidence. Isaac folded his arms, the light from the displays carving sharp shadows across his face. Then it's deliberate.
Cole zoomed in on the data stream.
These pulses aren't just quakes. They're frequencies within a human audible range. Listen. He switched on the audio feed. A deep, resonant thrum filled the air. Slow, deliberate, like a massive creature drawing breath. But layered within the sound was something else, something almost like words. Marcus frowned. You're saying it's trying to talk? Cole hesitated. I'm saying it already is. The command room fell silent except for the steady pulse echoing from the speakers. Isaac closed his eyes and tried to focus, to hear past the static. Somewhere in that deep vibration, his mind found shape in the noise, a phrase, faint but distinct. Asterisk, stop digging. Asterisk. He opened his eyes sharply. It's warning us. Marcus's voice was low but defiant. With respect, sir, we've been warned before. It took millions and still isn't satisfied. What happens when we stop? It finishes the job. Isaac stared at him for a long moment. Maybe it doesn't want to finish anything. Maybe it's trying to survive us. Cole's fingers danced across the console. There's something else, he said. The epicenters, they're converging under the mantle. We're picking up resonance like there's an energy buildup, a field distortion. If it peaks. He didn't finish. They all knew what he meant. The intercom crackled. Commander Reeve, external sensors show thermal anomalies rising near the trench perimeter. Requesting immediate field team deployment. Isaac nodded. Prep Alpha Team. Marcus, you're leading the escort. Cole, you're with them. Marcus straightened. Sir, with respect, we don't even know what's down there. That's exactly why you're going, Isaac said. Whatever it is, it's not going to wait for us. Hours later, the submersible platform hung above the dark edge of the Mariana Trench, swaying in a wind that smelled like copper and rain. The ocean below was unnaturally still, as if waiting. Floodlights cut through the fog, revealing rolling waves of mist that shimmered with faint bioluminescent light. Cole adjusted his scanner. frowning at the readings. The magnetic field's unstable. It's like the planet's heartbeat is right below us. Marcus checked his weapon, his voice steady despite the unease. I didn't sign up to listen to heartbeats. Let's find the source and get out. The dive began in silence. As the submersible descended, the world outside turned black except for the slow pulse of phosphorescent light rising from the depths. Cole watched the scanner flicker, signals intensifying. It's rhythmic almost.
Alive.
Marcus asked, half mocking, half serious. Cole didn't answer. The ocean floor emerged out of the darkness, a massive circular formation of metallic stone, glinting under the floodlights. It wasn't natural. The ridges formed perfect geometric patterns, spiraling inward toward a central chasm that glowed faintly red. Jesus, Marcus whispered. Tell me that's volcanic. Cole's voice trembled. No volcano forms symmetry like that. It's engineered. But by what? The submersible's comms crackled with interference. Static gave way to the same low pulse they had heard in the control room, but now it was deafening. The hull groaned under the pressure, metal flexing as if something unseen was pressing back. Commander, this is Venn. We've reached the coordinates. There's something alive down here. Isaac's voice came through, steady despite the distortion. Define alive. Energy signature fluctuating like a biological field, Cole replied quickly. It's reacting to us. The moment we descended, it changed frequency. Can you get samples? Cole hesitated. If I try, it might. The sound cut him off. A deep, shattering roar tore through the water, vibrating through their bones. Every light in the sub flickered, and the sensors exploded with unreadable data. Marcus gripped the console, shouting over the chaos. Cole, what's happening? Cole stared at the monitor, eyes wide. It's speaking again, but this time it's not words. It's commands. Translate. Isaac's voice snapped through the comm. Cole's face went pale. It says, asterisk, return what you took. Asterisk. The water outside boiled with sudden movement. Streams of molten light erupted from the ocean floor, spiraling upward like veins of fire. The entire trench seemed to breathe. Alarms blared as the sub rocked violently. Surface.
Now.
Marcus shouted, grabbing the controls. The sub shot upward, chased by a column of glowing energy that tore through the blackness like the wrath of a god. They breached the surface into a storm that hadn't been there moments ago. Thunder cracked without rain. Lightning arced from cloud to cloud, forming strange circular patterns. The sky looked alive. Reeve, we're surfacing. Marcus yelled into the comm. Whatever's down there, it's aware of us. Static swallowed the signal. Cole slumped in his seat, drenched in sweat, eyes fixed on the water below. It's not trying to destroy us, he whispered. It's showing us what it can do. Marcus turned to him. And if we don't listen? Cole looked up, his voice hollow. Then it stops showing and starts doing. By the time they returned to the surface station, the world had begun to change. Reports flooded in, rivers reversing flow, magnetic poles fluctuating, skies flickering with lights that moved like breathing veins across continents. Isaac met them on the landing deck, wind whipping his coat as the horizon burned faintly red. What did you find? He demanded. Cole stared at him, voice breaking. Proof. Of what? That Earth isn't warning us anymore, he said quietly. It's preparing to act. A low tremor rippled under their feet, gentle but constant. Isaac looked out toward the endless sea, feeling the vibration rise through his boots, through his bones. It wasn't chaos. It was rhythm, steady, deliberate, alive. Marcus exhaled shakily. Sir, what's our next move? Isaac didn't answer right away. The wind carried the faint echo. The underground facility was carved from stone older than any civilization, its walls alive with the hum of ancient power. Commander Isaac Reeve descended the final staircase with the weight of the world pressing against his chest. The lights flickered, dim, amber glows pulsing in the same slow rhythm they had recorded from the ocean floor. Earth's heartbeat had followed them here. Dr. Nathan Cole walked beside him, clutching a handheld scanner that twitched with static every few seconds. His face was pale, eyes ringed with exhaustion. "It's getting stronger," he whispered. "The frequency, it's inside the crust now. Every tectonic plate is resonating. It's like the planet is tuning itself." Isaac's voice was steady but low. "Tuning for what?" Cole didn't answer. Behind them, Lieutenant Marcus Venn and two field engineers carried heavy packs loaded with seismic sensors and portable reactors. The air grew denser the deeper they went, carrying a metallic tang that tasted like ozone and dust. When they reached the central chamber, a massive cavern opened before them, its walls lined with black crystal formations that pulsed faintly in unison. Marcus exhaled, the sound echoing through the void. "So this is it. The Earth's brain." Cole knelt, sweeping the scanner over the surface. "Not a brain," he said softly. "A memory. These crystals, they're storing energy, information, maybe even consciousness." Isaac crouched beside him. "You're saying the planet's alive because it remembers?" Cole nodded slowly. "Every vibration, every storm, every death, it's all recorded. Maybe it's always been aware. Maybe we were just too loud to hear it before." A low tremor rippled through the floor, scattering dust from the ceiling. The crystals flared with light for a brief moment, and the temperature dropped several degrees. The air vibrated, and then, like a voice emerging from static, the sound filled the chamber. It wasn't human. It was layered, deep, and resonant, like the echo of 1,000 storms speaking as one. The words were distorted but unmistakable. "Return the core." Marcus raised his weapon instinctively, though there was nothing to aim at. "Core? What core?" Cole froze. "It can't mean—" Isaac's gaze hardened. "Say it." Cole hesitated, his throat tight. "The Atlas reactor. The fusion array built beneath Nevada. The energy source we took from the crust 20 years ago. It was supposed to be a sustainable power system, but we never realized it was alive. It was part of the planet." Isaac stood. "You're saying we stole its heart?" The chamber shuddered again, this time harder. The lights flickered, and one of the engineers stumbled. A crack split the floor open, glowing faintly from below. Marcus steadied himself. "If it wants the core back, fine. We give it back." Cole shook his head. "It's not that simple. The Atlas reactor isn't just generating power anymore, it's fused with human infrastructure. Every city on Earth is linked to it. If we shut it down, we collapse civilization." "And if we don't?" Isaac asked. Cole's silence was answer enough. The tremors intensified, becoming rhythmic, like a countdown. Isaac looked up at the ceiling, where dust rained in thin streams. "We need to reach Atlas before this does." Marcus slung his rifle over his shoulder. "Assuming there's a way to reason with something that talks through earthquakes." "There's always a way," Isaac said. "We just haven't found the right language." They started back toward the surface, their footsteps echoing through the tunnel. But halfway up, the power failed. Total darkness swallowed them, followed by a deep, thunderous groan that rolled through the stone. The ground split open, revealing veins of molten light below. Cole's scanner went wild. "It's moving beneath us. It's accelerating the tectonic drift. It's trying to break through." Marcus shouted over the noise. "We'll be buried alive if we stay." Isaac reached for the emergency beacon on his belt and slammed it against the wall. A flare of blue light illuminated their faces, pale and sweating.
"Move. Now."
They raced upward as the tunnel collapsed behind them, each step shaking with the force of a world awakening in fury. When they burst into daylight, the surface was unrecognizable. The horizon burned crimson, and the sky pulsed with veins of light that stretched across continents. The facility above ground was in chaos. Alarms blared, soldiers shouted, and the wind carried a high-pitched whine like metal screaming. Isaac pushed through the command deck doors, shouting orders. "Evacuate the western stations. Redirect all power grids through orbital satellites. Keep Atlas isolated." An operator turned toward him, eyes wide. "Sir, Atlas is already responding. It's changing." define changing. Energy output rising exponentially. It's adapting, like it knows we're coming. Cole stumbled to the console, scanning the data feed. No, it's not adapting, it's syncing. The core is answering the planet's call. They're communicating. Then we shut it down, Isaac said coldly. Marcus shook his head. That's suicide. Half the continent runs on that power. Isaac met his eyes. Then half the continent lives, or all of it dies. The deck shook violently, throwing them to the ground. Through the glass window, the ocean on the horizon rose. Literally rose, as if gravity had loosened its grip. Walls of water twisted skyward, forming spiraling towers that glowed from within. Lightning forked between them, drawing patterns too precise to be random. Cole whispered, almost reverently, "It's building something." Isaac stared, unblinking. Or someone. A deafening tone filled the air, low, pure, and endless. Every screen in the command deck flickered with the same phrase repeated in every language known to man. "Return the core." The power grid surged. Lights exploded. One of the reactors outside burst into flame. Cole clutched his chest, his voice trembling. It's using the electrical network to amplify its reach. Every frequency, every signal, it's all part of the same organism now. Isaac steadied himself on the console, jaw tight. Then we don't give it the core. Marcus turned sharply. You're defying the planet itself. No, Isaac said, eyes narrowing. I'm protecting humanity's right to exist. The building shook again, but this time it wasn't just the Earth. It was something deeper, like a pulse of thought passing through the crust. Cole's monitor flashed one final message before dying entirely. Last warning. The world went silent. Outside, the sea drew back for miles, exposing the ocean floor like a gaping wound. The air shimmered with heat, and the horizon burned white. Marcus whispered, "What did it mean, last warning?" Isaac's gaze stayed fixed on the blinding horizon. His voice was calm, heavy with resolve. "It means the next time we hear from Earth, it won't be talking." The wind shifted, carrying with it the smell of burning salt and ozone. In the distance, something vast stirred beneath the waves, something awake, ancient, and unmerciful. The final phase had begun. The world was burning quietly. Not with fire, but with sound, deep, harmonic frequencies that rolled across the continents like invisible tides. Cities shook to their foundations, as if the planet were speaking through the bones of humanity itself. Commander Isaac Reeve stood on the shattered observation deck of what had once been the Global Recovery Corps headquarters, his eyes reflecting the crimson sky above. The clouds no longer moved naturally. They circled like smoke drawn toward an unseen center. The air smelled of ozone and metal. Every radio, every satellite, every power conduit across the globe was dead or hijacked. Earth's message was everywhere now, no longer confined to words or tremors. It had become part of existence. Dr. Nathan Cole emerged from the ruins of the control room, dragging a portable console sparking with dying power. His voice trembled with exhaustion and awe. "Atlas is awake, Isaac. It's not just a reactor anymore. It's evolving. It's thinking." Isaac didn't look at him. Thinking or remembering? Cole hesitated. Both. It's merging with the planet's neural frequency. The core's energy is harmonizing with Earth's magnetic field. We've triggered a planetary consciousness event. The planet is no longer a passive host. It's an intelligent force. Marcus Venn approached, his uniform torn, rifle slung across his back though it seemed useless now. He stared at the horizon where towers of seawater coiled upward into the clouds, glowing faintly with internal light. "You're saying it's alive."
Fine.
"But what's it planning to do with us?" Cole swallowed hard. "Maybe what any living thing does when it's wounded. It removes the infection." The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by the distant thunder that rolled without rain. Isaac turned away from them, his voice sharp. "You said Atlas is merging. Can it be severed?" Cole shook his head slowly. "Not without killing both. The core and the planet are one system now. If we destroy Atlas, We destroy Earth itself. Marcus stepped closer. And if we don't, it destroys us. That's the choice, Cole said quietly. Isaac exhaled, his breath trembling. Then we make a third option. Cole frowned. There isn't one. There always is, Isaac said, his eyes hardening. You said the core sinks through energy harmonics. What if we disrupt that resonance? Interrupt the connection before it stabilizes. Cole's expression shifted from disbelief to horror. You're talking about destabilizing a planetary energy field. You can't predict what that would do. I don't need to predict it, Isaac said. I just need it to stop. The ground beneath them trembled again. Not a quake, something deeper, more deliberate. The rhythm was familiar now, almost a voice. The three men froze as the sound grew louder until it filled the air around them like the heartbeat of the planet itself. A low tone resonated through the ruins. Then came the words, no longer distorted, no longer faint. They were clear, vast, spoken by a consciousness that filled the sky. Your kind was given the chance of peace. You chose hunger. The sound was inside their skulls, vibrating behind their eyes. Marcus dropped to one knee, clutching his head. It's in my mind. Cole's voice broke. It's not communication, it's invasion. It's trying to override us. Isaac's voice cut through the chaos. Focus. Route the last power from the backup grid to the seismic disruptors. Cole hesitated. That'll fry every system we have left. Then we do it by hand, Isaac snapped. They sprinted across the fractured platform toward the emergency access point. The facility groaned, metal twisting like bone. The closer they got to the main reactor shaft, the louder the resonance became until the walls themselves vibrated in harmony with the planet's pulse. Cole dropped to his knees beside a half-ruined control panel, forcing the console open. If we reverse the polarity and detonate the harmonics simultaneously, we can break the feedback loop for a few seconds. But someone needs to trigger it manually at the core. Marcus looked at Isaac. You mean suicide? Isaac met his eyes. I mean a chance. Marcus stepped forward. Then I'll do it. Isaac's jaw tightened. You have a family, Lieutenant. So did you, Marcus shot back. And they died trying to fix the world you're still trying to save. For a moment, neither man spoke. The planet roared again, this time so loudly that the air itself seemed to tear. The sky outside split open with light, revealing vast arcs of plasma bending across the horizon like the veins of a living organism. Cole slammed the final sequence into place. Whoever goes down there has 30 seconds after activation before the chamber melts. After that, there won't even be bones left. Isaac placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. You bought me time in the trench. Let me return it. Marcus shook his head, but Isaac was already moving toward the access tunnel. Cole shouted after him. If you destabilize the core, you might erase everything. You could burn the planet's consciousness out completely. Isaac didn't turn back. Then, maybe it finally gets to rest. The descent was fast and silent, the lift shuddering as energy surged through the walls. The reactor chamber glowed brighter than any sun, a sphere of pure light suspended above molten stone. Every beat of the pulse matched Isaac's heartbeat. It wasn't just power, it was life itself, compressed into fire. He reached the manual override, hands steady despite the heat searing through his gloves. The console blinked weakly. Cole's voice crackled through the comms, breaking up through static. Isaac, listen, if you do this, the connection might not sever cleanly. It could imprint you into the system. You'd become part of it. Isaac smiled faintly, eyes fixed on the swirling core. Maybe that's the point. He slammed the activation key. The chamber erupted in white light. For a moment, the world stopped. Then came the sound, deeper than thunder, older than language. It wasn't pain. It wasn't anger. It was recognition. From miles above, Cole and Marcus saw the light burst through the ground, shooting into the sky like a pillar connecting heaven and earth. The clouds split, revealing the stars beyond, clear, still, and silent. The resonance faded. The wind stilled. The ocean settled. Then came a voice, softer than before, echoing through every speaker, every current of air. He listened. Cole sank to his knees, tears burning his eyes. Isaac. Marcus looked to the horizon, where dawn began to break through the smoke. He gave it peace. For the first time in months, the world was quiet. No tremors. No frequencies. Just the sound of wind over a healing sea. But deep beneath the crust, where molten light had once burned, something new stirred. A spark, rhythmic and human. The planet's next breath carried a whisper only the brave could hear. Now we begin again.